Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you another video. All right, so it's a few things I want to talk about NBA wise before eating my breakfast. I do have to be out of here soon, so I probably shouldn't make this video too long. But first of all, the Portland Trailblazers and the Hansen Young trade, when they did indeed traded back with the Memphis Grizzlies, the Grizzlies gave them significant draft equity, it seemed, just for that swapping of spots. So some of the equity concerns could potentially be considered made up in the trade that they made initially to move back. Because that's my problem with the Hansen Young trade. When you reach so high for a guy at 16 that you could have got at 31 or whatever, you leave a lot of equity on the table. But if the trade that you made initially to get that pick gave you so much equity, then I guess one could take that as you trying your best to make up for what the equity loss would be. So I think when you look at it in a nutshell, if you want to say that and it helps you sleep better after making a decision like that, I think you give yourself the right to do so. But just the same, how much more equity do you have if you make that trade and then don't do that? You know what I mean? So it's like, if your intention is to just make up for intended loss equity, it can draw you to even, depending on how well things go with the player. If you turn them into what it is you expect them to, it draws even, or even expands to being more equity. But you could have made that trade to move back and then found yourself in a situation to still be patient, maybe move back further if possible, and still get that player and have the equity that came with moving back again, or have the equity at least that came from initially moving back and taking something of cost. And so instead of making up for a loss with the extra picks that came from moving back, you compounded more equity onto your books, having made such a fantastic deal to move back. Why take any losses anyway? It's just like I said, okay, somebody gave me $1 million. So now I'm going to go spend $70,000 on a $30,000 car. Or someone could give me $1 million and I can find a good deal for that car. Now, if I want to say that the only reason why I'm spending that much on a vehicle, $70,000, whatever it is I just said, is because someone gave me $100,000 from which to blow, that's cool. But you're still not managing what you've been given properly, even if you were fronted the right amount. You know, another analogy is in a race, somebody gives you a head start. Well, if they give you a head start, if you don't mind drawing even with them, you could trot and let them catch up with you and then proceed to use your burst of speed to try to make up the difference. Or you can speed hard with the fronting of whatever they've given you as a head start and win the damn race outright with ease. You know, you being given something that puts you out ahead does not necessarily make it okay for you to do something stupid that gives back so much of that equity. And that's what I have to say to the Portland Trailblazers. I think you help yourself by getting a lopsided deal in your favor in order to acquire the 16th overall pick. But you still did something stupid with the value you had, and that's what you're assessed for as well. So that's what I see. That Hansen Young pick was horrible. They should have traded back. They could have traded 16 for 28 or something like that and still got him and got more equity on top of what they did. You know, I saw the Lakers yesterday. We traded up to 45 and then traded further up to 36. That's kind of what I would have wanted the Portland Trailblazers to do. You traded back to 16 and you trade back further, because you know damn well, absolutely damn well, Hansen Young should not be taking 16. He should. You passed up. You could have had Hansen Young and something else if you would have traded back. A lot of something else if you were as savvy as you were about how you initially traded back. You know what I mean? If you could have found another person that was willing to do so much for you in regards to you trading back, like Memphis was, And I don't mind Memphis's decision in trading up. I think they give up a lot, but I think the player that they picked up was exactly who I would have wanted them to take based on what I felt they could use. Cedric Coward was perfect for that. So yeah, that's the first thing I wanted to say. Just get that out of the way. The second thing I wanted to say is, the Ace Bailey. I guess I'll go to Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey, from what I understand, does not find himself on the airplane that the other draft pick that's headed to Utah was on, and it has a lot of people alarmed that he's not going to show up. It's been said that he told a couple of the teams in the lottery that he would not report if drafted. I don't think Utah was one of those teams. It didn't say that Utah was one of them teams, but it was said that he told Utah not to draft him. So now it looks like he may be interested in not reporting to Utah. This is a very, very bad decision. I think we all agree that this is a bad decision, but it's a bad decision on a couple of fronts. One, it tanks his reputation in this league. This league has dealt with enough divas. They have done this with divas. They saw the whole thing play itself out. It is absolutely not something that this league is going to tolerate. He will be out of the league. He is not going to be able to pull that off. Not to mention that he, in my humble opinion, is not the cream of the crop of the draft. In everybody's humble opinion, this is a Cooper flag draft. And Cooper is displaying a certain sense of humility in his elevated status that makes it so that when you look at the number 3 guy acting crazy and you look at the number 1 guy with an exaggerated amount of humility, it makes it even less likely that people are going to tolerate Ace Bailey. If Ace Bailey was in Cooper Flag's spot, I think it would be a bit of a different conversation. But that you're the number 3 guy and people have a lot of questions about you fitting in any damn way makes it so that you acting up is definitely not a good decision for you. It's a very bad decision for you in that environment. And then another reason why this is terrible is because Utah is a really fantastically run organization, and they're run by Danny Ainge, who runs a hard bargain to begin with. You do not want to toy with Danny Ainge. You have not made any money in this league. And now you're behind the paywall of somebody who's known for fleecing people, for getting the most of his value, for being a dog on the court when he played. You are not going to win this battle, Ace Bailey. You don't have the leverage. You ain't made the money. This is an NBA team. A lot of people wish they were in your position. You gotta humble yourself and show up for Utah, man. You gotta do that, because if you don't do that, you're gonna ruin your career before it gets started, and you're gonna leave potentially hundreds of millions of dollars on the table, bro. They don't do this. The NBA has already gone through the diva stuff with players in the past, and they showed us all what it looks like, how it plays out. What they end up doing is, if you have the cachet to act a fool, they let you act a fool for a while, and then they screw you on the back end. You ain't gonna be able to get a job when you become a role player. When your athleticism wanes, suddenly you ain't nobody gonna want you around. You're gonna get blackballed out of the league. So that's what I would tell him. He needs to humble himself. And if he ain't mature enough to humble himself, his career is gonna be taken from him before it gets started. Just being honest. Based on his specific weaknesses, he already is somebody you can excuse from a lot of basketball situations. He's already somebody that you can say, I can sit him, because he ain't gonna make nobody else better. He's not particularly unselfish in that way. He's not particularly great as a ball handler by any stretch of the imagination. So there are things about his game that are flawed. His personality and his intentions and his mistakenness for the leverage that he can wield and how best to use that is a huge no. These are problems that cannot go together if you're trying to have a career. So I think Ace Bailey is in a very, very dangerous situation as it pertains to his career, because if he stays on the path he's on and plays hardball with the Utah Jazz, one of the best run organizations in the NBA right now, I don't think he may not be in the league next year. Forget a couple years from now. They may blackball him now. And they're going to send a message. Like, that's what I think the NBA will do. They will send a message to you, bro. You're going to play like this with them, they're going to start finding you, and you ain't even made the money. You ain't even made the money yet. You're gonna have to give them your whole contract. You are not Ben Simmons, bro. Ben Simmons had made hundreds of millions of dollars. You are not Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard was the best defensive player in the league, the best rebounder in the league at the time. You don't have none of that cachet. You ain't even got started yet, and you already showing these people that you gonna play hardball with them, and you don't even have the leverage to do so, brother. You are tanking your career before you even get on the court, before you even make the money. And I think the point of what I want to say also is, I feel like he may have some people around him that don't need to be around him, man. His agents, if they're allowing him to think he has leverage he doesn't have, or if they're advising him to play hardball with leverage that doesn't exist, those are agents that need to go. If he has family members or advisors around him that are telling him to do this, or telling him it's okay to do this, they are not good for his career. They need to get the hell away from him. He needs to cleanse himself of anybody that is enabling him to think this makes sense. This does not make sense at all. Nothing about this makes sense. I understand you may not want to be in Utah, but the choice is not yours based on the way this thing is set up, bro. You are not a free agent. You're a rookie. They can draft you anywhere they want to. Now, you could be unhappy that they drafted you a certain place, but this is a different day. This is not 2003. Or what year was it when Steve Francis was drafted, 99 or something like that, when he refused to go to the Grizzlies? This is an entirely different era. They've been through too much with this type of personality since then. And there is a high probability that they're going to just do away with this young man. He's going to be in China somewhere as the best player in China. And if that's what he wants to be, then that's what he's aiming for. He's going to be playing in Tel Aviv or something, I'm telling you, because it's no room for a guy who's already flawed, who's not even at the top of his class, acting like he wants to be the NBA's TO. It's not going to work. And so I would tell him, like, listen, bro, I understand you're young, and young people tend to make mistakes. Young people tend to tune wisdom out and want to run into a wall. Some kids really do run into walls, man, when it comes to, like, they're just so hard-headed and so hell-bent on doing what they want to do. And no matter what it is you tell them, they're not going to listen. And they end up being examples of what happens when you do so. Ace Bailey could very well be that if he wants to be. Because he wouldn't be the first one we've seen crash and burn with a lot of talent. And probably, unfortunately, won't be the last. But I would tell him, if there's a way that you can get the right people around him who can reach him and let him know what his true options are, what environment he's actually in, and what harm he's doing within that environment, those are the people he needs to have around him right now, at least planting the seed that he needs to switch up his strategy in regards to this NBA thing. You have to switch up your strategy, and you got to do it now, man. Get on a flight and get to Utah right now. And if anybody can send him that video, this video, please do. You need to get on the flight and get to Utah right now, because if you don't report and they go down the path of starting to find you and stuff like that, that's going to trickle down to you not getting minutes. That's going to trickle down to them blackballing you down the road. You're going to find out that they ain't going to want to put you on all-star teams that you deserve to be on if you happen to. Like, this trickles down to them closing doors on you and treating you unfairly. This is what ends up happening to you. You end up being a guy where you deserve the MVP or whatever, and they ain't going to give it to your ass 7 years from now, because they're going to remember what you did here, and they're going to want to send a message to you. Do not go down this path. And anybody that's telling you to go down this path needs to be fired. If they're around you and they're telling you to play hardball because you the man, they likely want something from you that they think they can get being this way, and they can't get it doing it that way. They're telling you to do it the wrong way. This, you know how I tell y'all I read energy, and this feels like the spirit of somebody who doesn't understand advising him how to move. Someone who's not all that savvy in this area of business, thinking that because he's a certain cachet of player in the draft, that he can maneuver his way based on what they may have seen other people do. But they ain't all that sharp to really even understand that this isn't possible from his position. It sounds like this is what it is. You got somebody from the crib telling you, hey man, you him. You ain't got to go nowhere you don't want to go. They yes men because they trying to fundangle some money out of him. So they not bright themselves. So they advising him to do certain things, trying to gain his trust so they can secretly take something from him. That's what this feels like to me. It feels like there's a bad uncle or a bad girlfriend or something like that in his corner, gassing him up, probably looking to take from him with their hand in his pocket. and he listening to him, believing him because he like a 20-year-old kid. Like, yeah, for sure, I'm him. Like that type of deep level stupidity and misguidedness and nefariousness. That's what it feels like is going on there, man. He got some nefarious people around him who are stupid, advising him how to do things the wrong way, hoping that they can get something out of him, hoping that it leads to them getting big money when it actually is going to give him the opposite. He is not going to win in the NBA this way. He ain't going to win the public opinion this way. He's going to find more hate than he's ever seen in his life pointed at him unnecessarily just for thinking that he has leverage that he doesn't have. This is a nightmare. This is what not to do. And I would tell him, get your ass on a flight to Utah right away and fire and remove whoever's around you telling you that you have the leverage to do this, that this is the way you're going to get what you want. It is not the way you're going to get what you want. It's the way you're going to get gone and end up broke 5 years from now working at Savon or whatever the hell the next place would be that you can work at. Working at, Rite Aid, rather. I'm telling you, it's going to be bad for him if he stays on this path. It's going to be bad. And the murmurs about him having bad character and all that is already in place. So whoever's around him telling him that he's a man and he can go wherever you want to go, and we just don't simply have to show up because we Ace Bailey and that's what we doing, whoever the hell that is, they need to go away. They need to get away from that kid right now. They need to be removed. Possibly investigated. That's just me, my vibes, man. I'm feeling energy around him that's gassing him up. That don't mean him no good, and that energy is not all that bright, and that's a terrible combination. A stupid person with bad intentions in the ear of somebody who's trying to make it in life is a terrible, terrible combination. And that's what it feels like, man. Somebody who don't know nothing about nothing trying to tell him what he needs to be doing to get what he wants. And strong-arming people, billionaires, trying to strong-arm billionaires when you a fresh, young, 20-year-old talent with flaws, man, you're going to be gone. You're going to be playing in Siberia somewhere, bro. I kid you not. So that's what I want to say, man. The Ace Bailey situation is concerning, man. It speaks to something else going on that may be not good in his camp. It ain't just a kid pulling strings. People are advising him and telling him what to do. And he's listening to him. I can feel it. So that's what I want to say, man. I think he needs to fire his representation right away. I'd tell a kid like that, just go sign with Clutch, bro. Go holler at Bron right quick. Place a phone call to Rich Paul and Bron and Maverick Carter and just sign with them. It's the safest thing you can do right now. And whoever that is telling you to strong arm these dudes, if you don't have the backing of certain agencies, you're not going to have that leverage. They provide you the leverage. That type of agency gives you the leverage to do this type of stupid shit. If you got some rinky-dink dude that you hired from down the street being your agent and you think you about to strong on the NBA, believe me, both of y'all going to be broke in no time flat. I promise. It's the realest thing I can say. So that's pretty much what I got to say about that. I guess there's some other things that I did want to throw into this video, but I got to get going, man. I got an appointment at 2 o'clock. It's already 11:30 and I haven't even eaten breakfast yet. So I'm going to leave this video here, man. But Ace Bailey needs to get his act together, bro. Seriously. BDL44. Thank y'all for watching. Out.